I am a man who loves music. I love just about every aspect of music. Writing it, playing it, recording it, mixing songs. I love all of that kind of stuff. Just about every aspect of music I thoroughly enjoy. One thing that I really enjoy, I would say maybe the most, is learning new things, right? Learning new techniques, new recording techniques, new, chord shapes on the guitar, things like that. Or learning an entirely new instrument. That is a really, really awesome experience, in my opinion. So, a couple things you may not know about me. Back in middle school, which seems like a century ago now, I was a trumpet player. I played in my middle school band. I played the trumpet. And a little bit into high school, I also played the trumpet. Love it. I could still pick one up, toot on it a little bit, and make a somewhat pleasing sound. A little while back at a community yard sale, I found not one, but 2 flutes. They had been used, obviously, but they were in pretty good shape, and I bought them for a whopping $10. That's $5 a piece. Couldn't beat that deal. At the same yard sale later down the road, so about the next year, the next time it rolled around, I bought another instrument there, and I actually documented it on this channel. I bought a drum kit for $75. You couldn't beat that deal with a stick. And that was the full kit and caboodle, no pun intended. It was the drum throne, the kit itself. You had sticks that came with it, cymbals, cymbal stands. I mean, everything, basic kit, but all the pieces were there if you really wanted to mic it up and record something with it. Which the only thing I ever really did with it was that initial video, where I think I said I'm gonna do more drum content, and it never came. In fact, I no longer have that drum kit. I've actually turned it into a profit. But I'm looking to rectify that. In fact, I'm looking to rectify a couple things in this video. I'm looking to seriously start learning another instrument and give you guys that drum content that I promised all that time back, which not a lot of people watch that video, so I'm not burning a whole lot of people there, am I? And of course, you probably saw the paid promotion banner, so this is a sponsored video by none other than my good friends over at Donner. Better late than never, I always say. So here it is. This is the Donner DED-80 electric drum kit. And I figured this would be a really good video to make for really 2 reasons. One, it's a good review. Good review of a drum kit if you happen to be looking for one. And 2, it's a good review from a beginner's perspective. So whether you're someone looking to just learn a new instrument, to kind of branch away from your main instrument, or you're looking to get into being a drummer to begin with, I think a true beginner's perspective is probably a good look at a product. Obviously, maybe look at someone that knows how to play the drums to get a better opinion, but from beginner to beginner, I think that is also a unique perspective to explore. All right, enough of that. Let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed and see what we get inside. Okay, so just a real quick run through of what we get in the box. So we get a drum stand. We have a couple of boxes labeled drum pad, a box labeled accessories, the drum stool surface, the module, which I assume this is where you control your samples and everything. You have your drum stool bracket. There's the other drum pad box, which we'll put right there. You also have your kick and pedal, and you have your cymbal pad, along with obviously your instruction manual and a nice little card in there. So here's kind of just where we're at right now. This is taking me about 5 minutes or so. So I've gotten the first 2 toms installed. I am reading the instruction manuals right there. And then that's where a crash is going to go right there. And I think that's where a hi-hat will go. And then there's probably going to be something else right here. But yeah, this whole little thing right here is taking me, if I can refocus, about 5 minutes. You get the point. So you're getting camera audio for now because I'm too lazy to get my other mic. This is where the module goes, right? So we have our cymbals up here. I've got pretty much all my toms right here. These other two on the sides, like right here and on this side, just slid on, so I didn't film all that. But here's the module, right? Okay, it comes in its own box, but the mount comes in the accessory box. So just keep that in mind, and I'm really curious about that right there. So yeah, you just want to take, and you're putting all this together, by the way, with this included drum key. So you're literally just like loosening these little clamps and sliding everything in where you need it to go. It's super duper easy to put together so far. I've maybe been working on this for about 15 minutes, and I think I'm pretty much already almost done. So really nifty. I was gonna say nifty, but I'm trying to multitask. I can't walk and chew gum, I guess. All right, so just wanted to point that out. I'm really curious to see what we can do with that, if it doesn't show my ignorance to electronic drum kits. So here is this bundle of things here, and that's what plugs into the back of that to receive the signal from all of your pads. I was sitting here thinking like, oh, you can plug this thing into a computer and get like your module on your screen. No, that's not how that works. So I'm not afraid to admit that I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think it's pretty easy to deduce that that is what that's for. So let's plug that in here in probably just a few minutes when I get all the other stuff going. But just wanted to air my ignorance to the world. Now here are the pedals, and you may be wondering like, where is the kick drum? Like, where's the actual drum, and where's the, well, I'm assuming since it's all, I guess, wireless or whatever. So this is the hi-hat, says it right there, and then that's the kick. You don't have an actual like kick pedal, so it's literally just like that. Tell me, drummers, if you're watching this, tell me how you feel about that, because I think most other drum kits come with an actual pedal, kind of like, you know, with your toms and your snare. Am I wrong for that? Thinking that? Tell me down there in the comments. Just another thing for the record, each one of these cables do tell you where to plug these in at. So the tom 1, tom 2, the snare right there. So I think that's a really nice, there's the crash, a really nice little touch there, because otherwise I would just be plugging these things in randomly, and we don't want that. All right, so here is kind of the finished product, aside from like making adjustments to how high I sit and everything. And another cool thing I should mention too is you can see all the cables kind of hanging around here. You do get in the accessory bag some Velcro strips, so you can do a little cable management. For this example, I'm not going to do that just because we're looking to play this thing. So just letting you know, everything is hooked up. We're going to plug in the power supply right there to the wall, into the module, and then we're going to start actually checking out the Donner DED-80. All right, so I'm back with the DED-80 electric drum kit by Donner. So let's start with the positives. So everything arrived safe, cool, very easy to put together, I will say that. Most of it is you take your drum key, you loosen some screws, you slide the pieces together. It's really that simple for most of this, other than plugging in the cables to each pieces, which you plug in underneath each one, as you can see, aside from the pedals where you plug them into the side, and everything is marked very well too, so it tells you exactly what to plug in and where. But that also gives you the option to change things around. So for example, if you wanted to change where your ride and your crash were, you could just unplug it, move it, and make that your crash and that your ride, or whatever the case may be. You have a hi-hat, a crash, and a ride, 3 toms, tom 1, 2, and 3 as they're labeled on the thing there, a snare drum, a kick pedal, and a hi-hat pedal, which controls whether the hi-hat is depressed or open. You have your module right here where you have an aux port, you have a headphone port, you have a USB port here, which is like those real thick ports, not a USB-C port. It's like the one that you would plug an interface into, one of those, so you can plug it into your computer and record that way. You have an output, which is what I have it hooked up to now. I have it hooked up to my interface, and we're recording into Reaper. And then you have your 9-volt power there, which you do get the power supply. You plug that in to power on the drum kit, obviously. There's a power button, a volume knob. You have, what does that say? Parameter knob, which is just a fancy way of saying you can switch using that knob. You do have a plus and minus button, which allows you to also change between the kits. You have 15 built-in kits with a variety of different sounds included in each of them, things like that. So, I mean, it's built and designed for someone to practice with, which is kind of what an E-kit is for. Now, I know what you're all wondering. What does it sound like? Well, this is the first kit, and this is what I can give you guys. Again, I'm not a drummer. I am a beginner. And there's your ride at the end there. So this is where maybe where we start to get into some negatives. The sounds in these across all 15 kits are pretty rudimentary. Now, whether you see that as an actual bad thing or not is kind of subjective. Me personally, I think they are kind of rudimentary, but you got to remember that this is like a beginner E-kit. So they're not going to put like the highest quality samples in there that they possibly have. So that was kit 1. Here's kit 2. I'm just going to play some basic stuff here just so you get an idea of what everything sounds like. So kit 2. So there you go. That's my ride. That's my crash, by the way. Kit 3. If you didn't believe I was a beginner, now you know. There you go. Seems like I have no rhythm, but I do, I promise. Kit 4. And I am having to like retighten some of these things because I'm trying to figure out how tight they actually need to be. I don't want to over tighten them, but the snare keeps falling down. But anyway, so not really a negative there. That's just me where I'm hitting it and everything. But number 5. Oh yeah, I'm not giving you an open hi-hat. So, like I said, very rudimentary samples, but there is the possibility, while I'm adjusting this again, there is the possibility of you being able to maybe link this thing to trigger your own samples. How you do that, I don't know. I don't know if I really want to figure it out in this video. This is showing the kit here. I will say this too, the sensitivity on them is pretty decent. So like, and then if you were to do like a drum roll or something on the snare, like it's okay, I guess. Yeah, it's okay, whatever. Kit number 7 here. You get the point there. So it's kit number 7. Kit number 8. Getting better as I'm going, huh? Kit number 9. That's a clap. Forgot about that. Here's an open hi-hat. But yeah, you gotta clap. Still have a ride there. Kit 10. Tambourine, it sounds like. Is this torturous yet for you? It is for me, just because I can't play. Kit number 11. So like that one doesn't sound terrible. The crash and stuff is definitely the weakest point. That's an okay sounding ride. There you go. 12, we're almost to the end, I promise. $13. So you got like a hip-hoppy kind of thing there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I see the sound they're going for there. I do like the sub kick though, that's kind of cool. And then kit 14. Tambourine. Cowbell. I can do that. Saturday Night Live, if you're old enough to get the reference. Those sound like bass hits. That's kind of interesting, right? You could do something with that, I guess. And then kit number 15, our 15th and final kit. Sorry about that. My camera stopped recording and you guys missed my big finale, but it wasn't anything spectacular or anything. But so what do I think about the Donner DED-80 electric drum kit? Well, I think it suits who it's going after. Beginners. The samples are not great. I will say that right now for the record. The samples are not fantastic. But I will also say this, that I'm not disappointed in that fact because I went into this with that in mind. This is an affordable electric drum kit. And realistically speaking, a lot of electric drum kits don't have great samples built within them. The benefit of something like this is if you can hook it up to your interface and you can trigger other samples, like better samples, like with Superior Drummer or Easy Drummer or something like that, you're much, much better off owning one of these. But there's a caveat to that, because if you are, again, living in an apartment complex or somewhere where you can't necessarily be loud, but you're a drummer and just want something to practice on, then this is fine. This is absolutely fine. It's nice, it's compact, it's well built, it's easy to assemble and disassemble, and I mean, it gets the job done. It does what it says that it does. It makes drum sounds. Whether they're good or bad, obviously is subjective, and for me, I'm saying that they are rather rudimentary. But at the end of the day, you got something you can quietly practice with, that everything is provided for you, drumsticks, headphones, everything you need, and it works. And it's not that expensive. And then again, if you can make it work with other things like a MIDI controller, then you just have that benefit of having an affordable MIDI controller. But so just take that for what you will. That's all I can really say about that. I hope I help you make an informed decision if you were looking at one of these. Thank you again, Donner, for sending this out. I know I didn't necessarily maybe have the nicest things to say about it, but you can't hit every single time. And maybe the more expensive drum kits are better. I don't know. Like I said, well built, just doesn't sound all that great. But that's okay. for who it's for. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. Thank you, Donner, for sending this out. Make sure you subscribe if you like the video, and let me know what you think about it in the comment section. I'll catch you guys in the next video.